Shalom, shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. I'm just going to touch on Israelite foreigners and the curses that go over the Jakes that are scattered from the part of the world that my family are from. Now, if you look at a lot of the surnames, right, like Gil, for example, a lot of these surnames, these are Jake surnames, okay? For example, these surnames come from us, like Gil, Flora, Bonsal, Dylan, Benning. All these surnames are in northwest India, which is the Punjab area. What you got to understand is, okay, people that are not really connected to people from that part of the world, especially East Indians. Remember, East India, the real East Indians are Bengalis, Sri Lankans. They're those guys that work at the gas station that are about 3.5 feet tall. That's Elam, okay? These guys I'm going to show you right now look more like Northern Kingdom, okay? Because we look similar to the Northern Kingdom. Some must look like straight up Judites or a combination of both. Okay, now due to slavery, the Persian captivity, Persia is on the border of the Punjab area, which is northwest India. There's a lot of Israelites there pursuant to Isaiah 11:11, right? And the curses are pretty much all over, all right? Now, for example, where I grew up in West London, there was a heavy Israelite foreigner and a Benjamite area. We had gangs, right? There were two gangs, okay, which were created to protect the community from skinhead riots, because skinheads, Edomites, would go around beating up black men, so-called black men, brown men in general, okay, and also obviously, and then the gangs were created. A lot of stabbings and murders were taking place of Israelites as well as Israelite foreigners at that time. We're talking about the 70s, early 80s, and the gangs were created at that time. Then after a little while, these gangs started fighting each other and taking each other out. And this was all pretty much all through the 80s to the 90s. Now that's pretty much died down because we got gentrification happening in West London, where you got a whole lot of Edomites, Ishmaelites, and real Elamites, natural Elamites that actually look like Elamites have come over. Now, so the area has been gentrified, and it's happening to every hood around the world. Okay? Now, they used to be, even though we're in hell, and sometimes you used to go to the hood, you walk through, and you feel somewhat like at home because, you're around these damn devils all day, these crackers and the heathens. You want to be around your own, You want to see some so-called black and brown faces, you know what I mean? You want to be around your own. And that's not even there no more. So that solace or that so-called comfort is not even there anymore, right? Now, Esau basically has taken our names and given it back to us, such as the last names and all that kind of stuff, okay? I'm not going to go into that right now, but we're the former of all things, all right? Now, wherever the talent is, the skill is, the beauty is, especially of our women, that's where Yasharal is going to be, because we're the salt of the earth. Obviously, ground zero in terms of talent and skill is America, because you've got the bulk of the tribes. But then you've got the Israelite foreigners. Now, the Israelite foreigners are going to be slightly, a lot of Jake ain't going to believe that because of the names and how they speak and all that kind of stuff. But that's the parable between the wheat and the tares. Okay, and Isaiah 11:11 does say that we're going to be scattered to the four corners of the earth. So I'm just going to read one scripture, all right, and then I'm going to play a video. It's about 5 minutes. It's going to go into the gang violence, which is happening in North America, okay? And this is all amongst Israelite foreigners, okay? I understand the languages speaking because this is the language that my parents speak at home, right? And all these niggas, I can tell they're all Jake, okay? And they're all closely tied with a lot of Benjamites there, because Canada's full of Benjamin and a little bit of Judah and Northern Kingdom too. We're closely tied with each other. But what divides us is that familiarity of food and the language. For example, Benjamin will hang with Benjamin more because of the patois and the food and, the lingo and, all that kind of thing. Like Hispanic brothers, Northern Kingdom brothers, even though we all look alike, will hang with the more Latin niggas more because, the food, the lingo, like you have in New York, Ephraim and Judah link with each other, but then there's times that Judah is with Judah and Ephraim with Ephraim. We're divided up because of why? Because we supposedly grew up in different cultures, but we're the same nation. That's the curse where we scattered to the four corners of the earth, right? But then Yahweh Shemeshai is going to get the elect out of these areas, okay? Now, Isaiah 11:11 and 12, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai shall set his hand again, the second time, to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, which is a so-called Middle East, but there's no such thing as a Middle East, and from Egypt, which is Africa, okay, and from Pathros, and from Kush, which is Africa again, and Elam, which is India and Persia, okay, which is known as Iran today, and from China, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea, such as Samoan Jakes and stuff like that. You got them Jakes like the Booyah tribe, the Samoan Jakes from Carson, California. They're definitely Jake, you know. Uh, Verse 12, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. And most of these Israelites, okay, even Brother Napash, the light-skinned Jake who's Turkish but can so-called maybe pastor an Edomite, but he's a Jake, the one of the long beard, who's in the London Great Millstone Camp. He even said that you Sikhs, okay, which is a faith that's followed by a lot of the Israelite foreigners in northwest India. The ones who wear the mitris. The ones who wear the mitris take a vow not to cut their hair. Like a Nazarite. And so, but they don't drink alcohol and stuff like that. What they take is like is they drink a lot of herb, which is like a medicine, basically marijuana, tea, and all that kind of stuff, which is a herb for meditation. They don't really drink alcohol and stuff like that. And obviously, the Sikhs over there in that part of the world do eat beef. And the only reason they don't touch beef in India is because of the dot heads, the real East Indians, the Elamites, that run shit. They run India. So basically, the Elamites are the Edomites of India. Okay? Then you got the Israelite foreigners there. So for example, Bollywood, the most of those beautiful ladies you see in Bollywood, if you want to Google them, Google them. Most of those women are Israelites. Okay? Most of the actors, they're in the forefront, those sharp-looking Jakes from the 70s on down, most of them are Jakes. I can tell why, because I'm from the culture. I know the names. I know the look. I can understand the style and steez that they have. Okay, so you got to be from that part of the world and also be immersed in the truth, Lord willing. If you're blessed enough in Yahweh Shem Shai, works with you, sends the angels to work with your mind, you're going to understand this. Now, a lot of Jakes that didn't grow up around Israelite foreigners like this, it might be new to them. Even the names might be slightly baffling, like the first names and all that kind of stuff. I'll give you an example as well. Elam is a pussy. You understand? They ain't going to fight back. When Israelite foreigners came over here and Esau thought it was sweet to try and put their hands on us, we fucked them up. We didn't play. Obviously, some of us got beaten up, stabbed, killed, or whatever, as the curses would make it happen through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yashai, right? But we don't take no shit. We fought, okay? We fought. And then on top of that, the real Elamites, okay, that were in a different part of London, we were in the west side of London. The real Elamites and Bengalis were the east side of London. Obviously, if we were in the east, we would never even coincide or even talk to those motherfuckers. Okay, now because we're in the west at that time, especially in the 70s, such a racist era at that time in the UK and around the world, Elam said, listen, man, help us out in it. We're getting our ass handed to us. Because in those days, you got paid on a Friday, right? And you had got paid cash, and the skinheads would basically drapes. The Edomites, they would drape, drape meaning they would like surround Elam and take their pay packets, slap them up, beat the shit out of them, maybe even kill them, right? So the Israelite foreigners had to go down there and handle business and fuck those Edomites up, okay? Now there's an ethnic look, a difference as well with the Israelite foreigners. For the most part, Israelite foreigners look more like Latinos, okay? They usually average between 5'11", 6 foot or more, heavily built, okay? They can easily pass for the Sicilian, some pass for Latino, some pass for Greek, some pass for, like tanned and all that, black hair, some pass for Ephraimites, some pass for Judites, with the curly, woolly hair. They're blessed with the woolly hair. I've got family members like that. We all come in different shades of brown. You see a standard Ephraimite family. For example, if you know rap like Big Pun, had the straight hair and the light skin. His wife was also an Ephraimite, but she had more of the Negro look. And his children are a combination of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is play a video. This guy makes videos about gang life and the murders between rival gangs. And if you've got to understand, these are the curses of Deuteronomy 28:54. Okay? Deuteronomy 20, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Yeah, the single-parent households. I know plenty of Israelite foreigners that only their mothers bringing them up. They grew up rough, on crack and heroin. Okay, these curses affect Jake everywhere. I grew up around it in the UK, and the UK is heavy for Israelite foreigners, especially from that part of the world where my family's from, right? And we click heavily with West Indian brothers, okay, because we have pretty much similar foods. like the chicken and the roti. We call it roti as well, the flatbread. And from that part of the world where the Israelite foreigners are from, we don't eat swine up there. We don't eat crab. We don't eat lobster. It's simple food like Ephraim eats, minus the filth that Ephraim and other tribes eat. Okay, we have the flatbread, we have the chicken, we have the lamb, we have the goat, and the rest of it is, and we have the cod. Okay, don't eat tuna much up there. It's mainly cod in terms of fish, and it's mainly lentils, which they call dal, D-A-A-L. Okay, and a lot of curries, okay, lightly flavored with cauliflower and aubergines and potatoes and peas and carrots and rice and things like that, and yogurt, flavored yogurt, kind of like a Mediterranean food, but slightly with extra flavor. You know what I'm trying to say? And Benjamin and the Israelite foreigners gravitate to that food because we eat similar. Okay, the only people that don't eat like that is Esau. All right. So, like I said, for a lot of Israelites that have the original look, or the names I mentioned, the 12 tribe chart. Obviously, Jake is everywhere pursuant to the scriptures, but the bulk of the tribes are in America. Hence, the reason why the tribe chart is the way it is. It's not excluding the Nigerian Jakes. It's not excluding the Ghanaian Jakes. But they're Judites too, aren't they? Or Benjamites or Levites, even Gadites. But they're still included, right? You're an Israelite. You're an Israelite. I'm just going to play the video. It's about 5 minutes. All right, check it out, and I'll put the link in the vid too. All right. I hope it's just fair use. I'm not going to make no money out of it. Hell, I don't even have enough subscribers to make any money out of it. Not that I want to anyway. It's not about that. Freely give, freely receive. All praise to Yahweh Hashem Yashai. Let's go.
Heard them Punjabi boys getting that money, right? They act right, nigga. Yeah.
This is Verinder Gill, known as Veep.
Oh yeah, just to mention, Brother Napash from the Great Millstone London camp. He said that a lot of you Sikhs are Israelites. Okay, and my family is from that sort of faith. Okay, and so are a lot of these guys, because I can tell that's a Sikh name, Verinder Pal, and the surname is Gill. Okay, and most of the middle names of Sikh men is Singh, which is Singh, which basically means lion. Okay, and the lion symbol is heavy. All right, that's why I believe there's a lot of Judites in north and northwest India. Okay, and I'll give you a little. Actually, you know what? I won't touch on that. Let's just play this. All right.
VP was born and raised in Abbotsford in a neighborhood called Townline Hill, and went to Rick Hansen Secondary School. He was a lanky, skinny quite.
Remember, these gang wars have been going on for about 40, 50 years in northern Cali. There's gangs in California, Sacktown, more Oakland area of Israelite foreigner gangs. They're affiliated with the Bloods and all that. It's nothing to be proud of. I'm just showing the curses amongst our people. And then you got these gangs. Okay, they get racism from Esau. They bust up Esau too. But these guys just take each other out, man. They just take each other out. Even Jake, the Jake up there, even the West Indian brothers are saying, man, you MFers are fucking crazy. Because there's no mercy. These guys just take each other out. As the elder bishops would say, man, Jake's gun is only good for each other, man. You bust your gun only at each other. All right?
Innocent kid with a turban. Around age 14, VP used to get into scraps with minor kids and boss and beasts, but that was his innocent days. Down the road, when he was 16 to 17, older guys started to pick on him and smash his windows and beat him at the gym. It was too much for him because he didn't know how to defend himself, and people thought he's just a dumb kid isn't on shit. That all changed in 2017 when BP did 6 to 8 hits and got flew out in Dubai by his associates. They iced him out and flew him in Dubai, gave him foreigns to drive.
These are Generation Z gang members, okay? There's a lot of videos online, okay? It's Punjabi gangs, okay? Panjabi. A Punjabi, right, is not the same as a Gujarati, okay? India is a huge place, all right? There's sub-tribes there, there's tribes there. Jake don't get along with Elam in India, okay? All right? If you look at the Punjab area, that's being attacked the most with drugs. The government know who's who there. Esau knows who's who there. That's why when Esau was ruling India at that time, most of the soldiers, guess where they were from? And guess who most of the soldiers in the front line Elam likes to use? Okay? Israelite foreigners from the Sikh faith, okay? The ones who wear the turbans, who don't cut their hair. And some of them do cut their hair. The ones that don't cut their hair have been baptized. They've taken the oath where they say that we're not going to cut our hair and beards. Okay? So they wear the mitri and they tie their beards up. Okay, and they carry weapons, which makes them a saint soldier. All right, the ones that are unbaptized, have cut their hair, shaved, trimmed their beard, or whatever, you know. And smoking. Oh yeah, I touch on the food, and also smoking is a big taboo. Smoking is a no-no in that part of the world. So these traits of Jake of not smoking, not eating swine, has carried on. Okay, but the other curses are there as well. All right. So like I said, you got to be from that part of the world to understand the curses. And plus, that area, Punjab, is being bombarded by drugs. The government knows, like the way Jake is recruited into the American army, the British army, they use Jake in with Jake. If you see a lot of heavy duty soldiers that are like really putting in that work and really good at their job, and and a lot of talent coming out of that part of the world, where a lot of wrestlers, a lot of sportsmen. Okay, most of them are Israelite foreigners. Okay, especially Sikh Punjabis. All right. Okay, and like I said, from the UK, a lot of the Israelites that are here know that a lot of these Israelite foreigners that are from this part of the world, Northwest India, are Israelites. All right, America, because such a huge landmass, and pretty much if you're brown, you can pretty much pass for anybody up there. So a lot of these Jakes won't be living in those areas. They might be around about the area, but for example, the way Latin Jakes would sort of like you got little Italy, you got Sicilians there, a lot of Italian Jakes will be around each other because of culture and lingo. You got a lot of Israelite foreigners, okay, Punjabis or Northwest Indian food that'll be around each other. You know what I mean? Going to the temple or whatever. Okay, and then you got Elam, real Elam. That'll be worshipping. That would have a different sort of ethnic look. They'd be brown too, but they'll be looking a little bit more smaller, a little bit more frail, a little bit more weak. Their women look a little bit smaller. They look very weak. Like you can break them in half or whatever. Not being proud and all that. I'm just stating a fact. Okay, it goes both ways. Sometimes you can look like a heathen and still be Jake too. So it goes both ways. And like Brother Napash even said that, he's spoken to a lot of people from my part of the world, and he goes, "Yeah, you guys are Jake, man." He mentioned in one of his videos a little while back. Anyway, Brother Napash of Great Millstone, the London camp.
He also got a $200,000 chain and a 40,000 to 50,000 Rolex, since it's 0% tax in Dubai. BP got paid big amount to do hits. His first known hit was Saker Sidhu, age 23, who was shot February 20th, 2017.
It was Monday morning when 23-year-old Satkar Singh Sidhu was gunned down as he was walking.
I was in my house. My daughter told me about the shooting. I do not know.
Satkar Singh Sidhu did not have a criminal record, but was known to police. His murder believed to be targeted, linked to the ongoing gang turf war in Abbotsford.
जिसने भी ये कीता जिथे भी किते होवे बस ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਦੇਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਚ ਲੈ ਆ ਕੇ ਘੰਟਾ ਬਿਠਾ ਦਿਓ ਉਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨੇ ਕੀ ਕਰਤਾ
BP packed his clothes and left the house early morning, which confused his parents. BP got paid 50,000 for Saker's hit, and Saker's brother Belker Sidhu saw it from the window when Saker was getting shot. RCMP arrested him, and 2 others, but due to lack of evidence, they had to release him. Other known hits were Jason Dalrymple in January.
Like the gun violence up there, especially Northern America, North America, Canada area, Toronto, BC, Vancouver, especially them Jakes up there, they're hungry for blood, man. Especially with each other, they take each other out in the drop of a hat, straight up. Gunfire, man. They will storm your wedding. If you're at a wedding, right? They'd come there. Some gangsters would have bodyguards there. And they just take you out there in front of everyone. They don't give a shit. These MFers are crazy, and they're just hungry for blood for each other. All the racism these motherfuckers go through, and all they can do is gun each other down, man. Why? For what? For drug money and for whatever. And some of these people were, innocent as well in terms of, they weren't indirectly involved, but they were taken out for whatever reason. And most of these lot were gangsters too. But as the Lord says, whoever perisheth being innocent, right? Anyway, I'm gonna play again. It's only 3 minutes left. Please be patient and just give it a go. But also Google information yourself. Check it out. I'm just playing this vid because I just watched it and just checked it out. This sort of gives you a brief synopsis on what the current situation is. But back in the mid-90s, it was off the chain. Because I remember being in Canada in 1998, in Toronto. And it was off the chain that summer, man.
January 2018. Jasprit Sidhu on August 4th, 2017. While driving, Jasprit got shot and crashed his car. He was heard screaming, I'm dying, give me water. And lastly, Gagandi Dalalu, which I'll cover at the end of this video. Then VP went on Snapchat and started boasting about the murder he committed, and the same day, he messaged all the guys who used to pick on him and the other ones who smashed his window. Those guys were shook and didn't even reply, and later they apologized. One of them was Lucky Dalrymple, who got shot in South Fraser Way. Lucky Dalrymple survived and left the city. In March 24, 2017, one of the BK gang members shot VP's friend's Jasker Lally, who was VP's friend. And then Brian Shrek Dalrymple's younger cousin Gagandi Dalrymple started threatening VP. On August 4, 2018, Gagandi Dalrymple got home with his family from a wedding reception. He was chilling with his cousin in the garage, with the garage door open while his family inside the house. VP went into the garage and shot both of them. Gagandi Dalrymple died, but his cousin survived. Months later, someone killed VP on October 3, 2018, when VP was with his girlfriend in a pickup truck at Junction Mall parking lot in Mission, BC. Luckily, his girlfriend survived, but VP died. I couldn't find any information if his girlfriend was in the truck, probably because this information wasn't disclosed for safety reasons. It's rumored that Gagandeep's dad was on something shady and might have killed VP, because Gagandeep's cousin might have ratted, and when his dad was doing the hit on VP, he got a flashback of his son and took a U-turn, so VP doesn't get a chance of survival. VP also had more hits and they are still unknown. After VP's death, Brothers Keepers gang started dissing him. Later, one of VP's homie killed BK's leader Mandeep Guru in front of CIBC Bank. Another attempted hit by VP's friend also shot Meninder Dalrymple at Richmond Ports. Later, Meninder left the country. There is also a CCTV clip of VP's friend doing a hit.
Maniac B.
Verinderpool was also threatening Shrek Dalrymple, who was making fake accounts of his friend Jasker Lally. In the comments, Jagrag Atwell and other Brother Keepers gang member replied. Shrek Dalrymple was leader of the Red Scorpions gang and high member of BK. A 17-year-old VP who was only in the game for a year, and mouthing off gang leaders who've been in the game for decades like Shrek Jagridge and other BK gang member, was never seen before in the BC Lower Mainland conflict. Should have never bullied VP and this would never happened.
There you go. That's a little synopsis in terms of the curse is pretty much everywhere. Like they do in the hood, or any kind of neighborhood where Jake is. They're going to go for the underdog, the child that's being bullied, and then the child has something to prove, like this kid, VP, at 14 doing hits, 15, 16 doing hits, and this gun violence still goes on to this day. It's like, the way Jake is used and used as the face of gangs and all that kind of stuff in America. In Canada, the face of gangs and gang violence and guns is the face basically of Israelite foreigners. Okay, yeah, because they talk about it over here, they talk about it over there, and you sort of like they sort of like this. You saying, yeah, your people are violent and blah blah, like you have derogatory terms and all that kind of stuff, which pretty much is all across the board with Jake, And like I said, where my family are from, right, which is Northwest India, the Punjab area, right, a lot of drugs are being pumped in there by the government, crack, heroin, cocaine, and they do it on purpose, and they're pumping into all the villages. All the trucks are being sent in, right, and they're not checked, and all the trucks are sent out. They're not checked by the border police, okay, because they're all paid off. And the government is doing that because they want to eliminate that population. For example, they're trying to eliminate the faith there. They're trying to make them be dot heads and worship the statues and idol worship, and they're also trying to eliminate the language, which is Punjabi, which is basically like how shall I say, like like Ebonics or slang. It's got more of a gung ho, more of a masculine language. You know what I mean? It's like that Hindi shit that Elam speaks is pussy. It sounds soft. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I said, you've got to be from that part of the world to understand it, and yeah, and the curses are heavy there, man, real heavy, okay, and poverty there is rife. You got these Israelite foreigners, and then you got the other Israelite foreigners like the Untouchables, all right, Because remember, they got Jake divided up in tribes. Okay, like, oh, you're a farmer or you're a carpenter. But obviously there's the specific in Punjabi names for them. But you're a carpenter, you're a farmer, or you are a latrine cleaner, basically a toilet cleaner, and so they divide. So they divide up the Jakes, and they put Jake against each other, light skin versus dark skin, or you do this job, and my daughter can't marry into your family because you're lowly or low caste or whatever. But they're both Israelites, but they don't know it, And the untouchables, who are Jake also, they get the brunt of it, man. They get the worst, because they're known as untouchables, But anyway, I just wanted to make a quick vid. I hope this sort of like gives you a little bit more of insight into the curses, how they affect everybody all the way around. I guess if you follow Great Millstone, the men of the Lord, who we learn from, you'll understand this. Other camps may not. They'll probably just say that this is Elam or the curse is going on them. Nah, this is Jake. I know, all right? Okay? I know that they're Jake. I can tell. I know. And then on top of that, it's quite deep. You got, like I said, man, you either got to be from the UK or grow up around these guys to know that, yeah, these guys are Jake. If you're from the hood, like you're from East Coast or West Coast, and you've grown up only around Issachar or Ephraim, Judah, Issachar, Ephraim, or Gad or whatever, because Gad is pretty much on the res, right? You're not gonna know these. You're not gonna know, until you are around them, and then you're gonna say, "Shit, man, these are my people." Number one, there's brown, and number one, they're brown for the most part, and then again, then you can say, "Oh man, we eat the same food, and we like our meat cooked well, and we don't do idol worship." All these things that's going to connect up, and then the spirit's going to connect up, and what you talk about faith and so-called religion is going to connect up. But obviously, due to the curses, we were in different doctrines. Unless Yahweh Bashim Yashai wakes you up and gets you out of that specific doctrine. All right. Anyway, all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yashai Bashim Rakak Wadash. Shalom.